Hello and welcome back, viewers, to another episode of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins, episode 28. So, we made a few more technical changes here. Ooh, look at that nice moon. Made a few more technical changes here. First of all, I think I put it... I'm hoping this will work. I'm not very technically minded, but I put this in 16:9, which is what the people suggested I do, stretching it, but then that made the thing weird. So I'm hoping that doing this will allow the video to look cleaner, better, whatnot. So hopefully that'll work. So let's get this episode started here. I did a little bit of selling as well. So as you can see, we have some new armor on. Look at how strapping we are. Put some things on Alistair as well, and then sold the rest. So let's get to it. Let's talk to morastrippin here and finish our camp talking.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
So, let's see, how'd you become a shape changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Yeah, yes, quite amusing. That does sound like something you'd do.
Oh? I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble.
True enough.
That said, I cannot speak for the tastes of my mother. She has, after all, lived a very lengthy time in the wilds and done many things I know nothing of. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into a human form as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
But the real question is can you, like, change into a form that has more clothes on? Because this is just making me really uncomfortable all the time. So, do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf. Listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do you think other animals think when you changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell, and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Darn it. I always wanted to be a cat. Alright, well that's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Well, to gain the most approval here, we should go with... Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled.
I wouldn't advise it. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Come on, approve. Yeah! Yeah! Alright, let's continue.
What do you wish of me?
Well, I want to talk to you more about stuff.
If you must.
So, did you grow up in the Kokari Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Well, I mean, you could. You can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon, then, while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew
Your
up in the
glibness
wilds?
does you no credit.
Curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time, I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
I want to make, like, a Dragon Age spin-off where, like, Morgan has time traveled into present day and she goes to high school. And instead of a game, it'll be a sitcom. I think it's a good idea. Alright, so, and you remained unnoticed?
For the most part, Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Such as? Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps.
Sucking up to you is the
Only
worst.
once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play.
True enough.
The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Wait, touching? Like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew.
How to put on
I
clothes?
still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Yet, here you are. But you know what? Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you.
No
Well, let's get on
problemo.
with it
Let me
before the
just
ground
get my
opens up
nose
and
all
swallows us,
nice and
yes?
brown for you. Yes, +8. Oh, man. Sucking up to
Yes?
you is really easy. So life in the wilds must have been very lonely. Hey, lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
You freak. And did they speak back?
Don't be foolish. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to
Well,
the
I'll
wilds.
forget that when I go to Orzammar and find one that's just like it. That's the possibility of giving a gift to someone that's really important to you and gets a lot of approval from you. So, I can't imagine Flemeth was pleased.
She was
Yeah.
not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
Rightly so. I have a hard time picturing you heartbroken.
That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
Well, I can't say the things I'd actually like to say, so, they made you stronger, did they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Alright. Well, yep, nope, I think that'll do it. I think that'll be it for all of our camping adventures, however fun this has been. So, we'll just head over here, Dr. Barker's, keeping it cool. And we will have to find out the place that we are going to go first in the next episode. Thank you for joining us, viewers. This has been episode 28 of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins. Join us next time.